Welcome this evening. We have great news everyone has been waiting for. Venezuela's President Nicolas Maduro has accepted an invitation to meet with the President of Guyana, Irfaan Ali, next week to discuss matters related to the current dispute between the countries over who is the rightful owner of Essequibo, a territory that has been a part of Guyana's official map since 1899. Who would have thought this? Given the deep rift between the parties, well, the tide seems to be turning. You are watching The Final Takeaway, where we assess the facts and offer opinions on issues of interest across the globe. Like, share, and subscribe to keep up to date and keep the conversation going. Thank you. The high-level meeting between Guyana and Venezuela is scheduled for Thursday, December 14, 2023 at 10 a.m. It will be hosted by the Brazilian President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva, the heads of state of CARICOM, a United Nations Under-Secretary General, and the Community of Latin American and Caribbean States, CELAC, President Ralph Gonsalves. This major development was announced this evening by St. Vincent and the Grenadines Prime Minister Ralph Gonsalves. According to Gonsalves, efforts largely by CARICOM and the Community of Latin American and Caribbean States, a regional group currently led by St. Vincent and the Grenadines, has made the upcoming meeting possible. Other significant players who helped make this proposed meeting possible include Brazil's Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva, that's the president of Brazil. Venezuela confirmed news of the proposed meeting, according to mainstream media sources. A press statement by the country's foreign ministry stated that Venezuela expresses its satisfaction and accepts the call to meet with approval and commitment. Venezuelan's foreign ministry also revealed that President Maduro discussed the matter with the UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres. The UN chief has pledged his commitment to promote efforts in favor of face-to-face dialogue between the parties. What will they discuss at the meeting? What's the agenda? That's the question on everyone's mind. We don't know the answer as yet. We don't want to speculate. We know largely it has to do with the Guyana-Venezuela border dispute, and a dispute that has been escalating in the past 2 weeks or so. We don't know the specifics, like I said, about the meeting as far as what will be on the table for discussion. For now, this is something both countries and stakeholders can celebrate about. Last week, many thought the two countries were on the brink of a war over territory and oil. This news this evening came as a shock to many and is seen as progress, regardless of whether a resolution happens at the meeting next week or not. This meeting can pave the way for more meetings as the leaders seek to resolve the dispute in a peaceful manner in the interest of all. As you may know, the President of Venezuela and Guyana have been taking turns to publicly voice their opinions of matters pertaining to the dispute over the oil-rich region located in Guyana. Maduro and his Vice President, Delcy Rodriguez, have been hostile towards Guyana in their attempts to prove Essequibo is a part of Venezuela. The situation became a major cause for concern last week after Maduro's government called on Venezuelans to vote on a decision to seize Essequibo and make it a part of Venezuela. Things further escalated earlier this week, when Maduro announced plans to make and pass laws on procedures for taking over Essequibo. He also noted that local companies will be licensed to grant oil companies the right to explore and exploit oil offshore the Essequibo region in Guyana. This led to the United States publicly reaffirming its commitment to supporting Guyana in this matter, which is a grave concern not only for the two countries and their people, but the entire Latin American and Caribbean countries and countries further afield. Meanwhile, Guyana's president responded by reporting Maduro's threats to the UN Security Council and the International Court of Justice. Last month, the International Court of Justice outlined provisional measures for Venezuela, in particular, in an attempt to curb the tense disagreement between itself and Guyana. The court warned that Venezuela shall refrain from taking any action that would aggravate or extend the dispute or make it more difficult to resolve. In the court's words, Venezuela still went ahead and held the election or a referendum to get approval from the citizens to annex Essequibo. This is a territory that has officially been under Guyana's sovereign rulership since 1899, following a Paris tribunal decision in 1899. Will the meeting solve the Essequibo border dispute is another burning question in people's mind. We don't know the answers yet, but in our final takeaway, we will say this is a positive step and could be one that leads to a peaceful and satisfying outcome for the parties, meaning Guyana and Venezuela. However, it's going to take more than this meeting to solve this problem. If both countries' leaders are adamant they own Essequibo, we know a lot is at stake. Essequibo is an oil-rich region and it promises billions of barrels of oil. The other issue is the dispute is currently before the World Court, that's the ICJ. These parties may not be able to agree to anything before the court settles the dispute. We're not sure how this works yet legally, but I don't think prima facie, on the face of it, that they could actually negotiate outside of the ICJ, considering that the case has been brought before the ICJ for a resolution. We already know that Venezuela rejects the World Court as having the legal power to settle the dispute on behalf of the parties. So that's a major hurdle right there. Venezuela will have to come back with its tail between its legs, and it will have to accept the World Court's jurisdiction over this matter. Venezuela kept insisting that the only legally binding instrument that is there to help Guyana and Venezuela solve this border dispute would be the 1966 Geneva Agreement. With that said, and with that in mind, how fruitful will the upcoming meeting in St. Vincent be for Guyana and Venezuela? It could be weeks, months, or years before this matter is finally put to rest. Who knows? It's anyone's guess, especially with how unpredictable President Maduro has proven himself to be. For now, we will just have to wait and see. We will be bringing you updates as fresh information comes along. You've been watching The Final Takeaway. Please remember to subscribe and hit the bell icon for updates. See you next time and see you in the next video.